All right, let's get to it because it is graduation season, right? Left and right, we're seeing all the different graduates doing their thing, their walk, their speeches. Speaking of which, all across the country, after we've seen their big achievements and their walks and their speeches, we do have a couple of graduation-related stories that we want to talk to you about, okay? So up first, you may have heard this story. A Dallas valedictorian who decided she was going to ditch her pre-approved speech and instead speaks out against the heartbeat abortion law in Texas, which did recently pass. Here's some of what she said at that graduation.
I have dreams and hopes and ambitions. Every girl graduating today does. And we have spent our entire lives working towards our future. And without our input and without our consent, our control over that future has been stripped away from us. I am terrified that if my contraceptives fail, I am terrified that if I am raped, then my hopes and aspirations and dreams and efforts for my future will no longer matter.
Wow. So what do you think of her choice to ditch her speech and get political? Is this fair to the other students who are graduating that day and their parents who are there as well? We are getting in so many comments. Tori, what do you make of this?
It was a protest for sure. That's how you protest, when you do it in a time that's uncomfortable. You do it when it's not the right time and place, or else it doesn't mean anything. So her to take that time, give herself, the valedictorian, her space to give that was hers to own. And if you didn't like it, that's the point of the protest. I mean, really. So she did what she had to do. I fully support her. And for someone who's saying, where you think you're an adult now, make her an adult speech. She should be okay to do so.
I think that she had her platform, which she earned. And we all make decisions about how we are going to utilize our platform. I have a really hard time criticizing someone who is talking about having full autonomy over their bodies and not having someone else encroach on that decision. So if other people feel like they were encroached upon, I would just like them to think about that in terms of women's bodies and women's rights.
Al, what did you make of it?
There's a lot to unpack here, Sammy. Of course, I believe that a woman has a right to advocate. We all have a right to advocate for women and their autonomy over their bodies. But I am going to push back a little bit. I do think there's a time and a place. And look, it takes a village. And a lot of times, I told a buddy of mine that was going to get his graduation from college sent to him in the mail, his diploma. I told him to walk, or I suggested he walk, because it's not just for him. It's for his auntie. It's for his friends, his family, his grandmother, everybody that helped raise him from infancy to where he was now. So I feel like a lot of times the graduation is less for you than it is for the people that love and raise and support you. And maybe on that day, they might not have wanted to hear about abortion, although it is a very valid topic of discussion. Interesting.
We have Kylie just writing in right now on Twitter saying, I would hate it if my daughter's graduation was hijacked by a politically motivated spectacle like this. She should be punished for making it about her and not about the whole graduating class. All right, so definitely different opinions here, and that's what this show's about. So thank you for that, Kylie. Speaking of a distraction at a graduation ceremony, a young rapper in Georgia named Metro Mars made it rain at his high school graduation, throwing thousands of dollars into the crowd from the stage, but it was short-lived as the crowd went nuts and things got a little out of control, you think? The rapper was escorted from the ceremony by police for inciting a riot and disorderly conduct. Mars did get a ticket, but he was not arrested. No files were charged. Mars also said he visited the school's principal the next day and that they have cleared the air, mostly. But how would you feel if this happened at your graduation? I'd be all about it.
I'd be so into it. Yes.
Yeah.
I'd be like, give me.
Well, you know, my last name starts with a C, so I'd be close to the front. So I would be most blessed.
Right. Isn't that awful? She thinks
yes. But at the same time, I'm also thinking that it seems a little excessive for them to have escorted him out that way. I mean, once the spectacle was done, it was done. They could have just let him sit and proceeded on. But I also don't know if people need to be having money thrown at them. I mean, I will catch it, but it might just be a little demeaning.
I give him full credit. For him to say, I'm going to give away, when most teenagers, when Sam was a teenager, when she was hoarding her money, this kid's giving away his money. That's a big deal. And then for him to have the class to go to the school the next day and make sure that things were right between him and the principal, this is someone that I predict, sure, might be outside of the box, but I believe is going to be an activist, a philanthropist, and I can't wait to see what this kid, or young man, I should say, does with the rest of his life. Al, what do you feel about that? As a former teacher, what do you think?
Well, I think he has a skill set that translates to a certain part of the nightlife. With that said, I'll just say this. What are you guys talking about, philanthropist? He was making it rain at graduation to get attention for himself, and it worked because we're talking about him on TV. So stop talking about him like he's Malala Yousafzai. All right, I appreciate this.
He gave $5,000 to the valedictorian, $5,000 to the, what's the other one called? The salutatorian?
Salutatorian?
I'm sorry, Al. Did you have $10,000 that you would just give away to people when you were 17?
I would have done it if I could have balled it up and thrown it in my classmate's face.
Wow. No credit here. Jeez. All right, this next one is heartwarming.
Honestly, Sam, shout out to this young man. He's on a big label. He's with Migos. He's with the City Girls. I expect big things from this kid. And you're right, he did set up a bunch of scholarship programs. I think he's doing the right thing, and he's getting attention because we're talking about it.
So she was right, is what you're saying, Al.
Mm-hmm.
I will never agree to that.
We have one more story, and this one is heartwarming. This picture went viral showing a teacher in socks who gave his shoes to a graduating senior. That senior was told he couldn't walk because the shoes he wore were not up to the dress code. Here they are, okay? Yep, apparently they were too athletic for the school. Here's what the student and teacher said about the exchange.
I say, hey man, these are a size 11. You're gonna take these and you're gonna walk the stage. We absolutely cannot, rob you of this moment. It was a no-brainer to me to just take my shoes off and give them to him.
I was just happy that I was able to walk across the stage, even though I was sliding. Everybody was laughing because they knew I was sliding. He was willing to take off his shoes and let me walk across. So you can't ask for no better than that.
Amen. And the symbolism of all of it. Erica, you felt moved by this story. I've been watching.
No, I'm not moved. I think this is a damn shame that he was ever in this position to begin with. People need to exercise some common sense. For a teacher, a grown teacher, to stop this young man from walking because his shoes weren't up to code. They were Alexander McQueen,
They were McQueen,
for pity's sake.
people.
So now he can't walk in his graduation? Like, just... If you didn't like him, just say that, because that's how we're all feeling about it. And the fact that this teacher came to his defense and tried to talk some sense into the other teacher who was stopping it down and then was just like, take my shoes, it's ridiculous.
It is. It's policing. Like, come on, you don't need to police every single rule. What, Al?
I was just gonna, what Al? Wow, Sam. I was just gonna say, maybe this teacher was trying to prepare him for his future and having difficulty getting into white nightclubs. Because this is what happens when black dudes try and roll in. They're like, those are athletic shoes. So maybe she's looking out for him 4 years from now.
Look at Erica.
She's just like rolling around. Talk about teachers getting their clothes off their own backs, though, huh? We love our teachers. Big shout out to teachers.
I thought you were going to have a story.
I had a story, but no, we have 10 seconds. It's about a duck and a graduation. You'll never hear it. You'll never know.
Darn.
Sorry.
It's really interesting.
We're done.
And Al, I didn't mean to be like, what, Al? Even when I heard myself say it, even I cringed. I don't know what that was about, but you know I love you. Coming up on
See, Sam, that's why the viewers think we hate each other.
They love each other, y'all.
Sister. We really are.